Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Adina, and I create content tools and resources to help career driven millennials and upcoming entrepreneurs like yourself get the money that you need to build the life that you want. I use my platform to share my journey, my personal journey to financial freedom and really just a happy and fulfilled life. My content is all about career, personal finance, and self improvement. So if you're interested, please subscribe to this channel. Today's video is the next part of my career confidence series, and it's all about how to write a great resume. And these tips work even if all you have is clerical experience. So I know that a lot of us are re-entering the job force. We're looking for new jobs or looking to switch careers due to all the economic nonsense that's been going on. So I just wanted to put some content out there that could help people in their job search journey and things of that nature. And so this video is specifically about resume writing tips that could help you be more confident in your job search journey and to basically help you along that process of getting a new job. So, tips to writing a great resume. My first tip to writing a great resume is to have multiple resumes. Of course, you gotta have multiple resumes and you vary your resumes based on the type of job that you are looking for. Okay, now you don't need a new resume for every single job that you apply for. Obviously, you just need a new resume for each type of job that you go for. For example, let's say you're in a STEM field, let's say you're somebody like me and you went to school for science or chemistry. You got two different ways that you could go with this. I mean, maybe more if you want to get more creative, but you could either go into industry, meaning you work for something like a pharmaceutical company or something like that in the STEM tech industry, or you can go into academia, meaning you go towards teaching in maybe collegiate or secondary school. So somebody like me or somebody in STEM would have two different resumes. I would have an industry resume where I would be selling my skill set to industry professionals, and then I would have an academic resume where I would be selling my skill set in a particular way to appeal to academia. And so on my industry resume, I would be talking about my hands-on technical and laboratory skills, and I would focus mainly on that and what I'm able to do in a laboratory. And then in my academic resume, I would be focusing on how I use my skill set in a classroom setting and basically to be a mentor to peers or people who are trying to learn and study. All right, so I would have two different resumes. Now, I wouldn't necessarily have two completely different sets of work experience. Okay, so I might have the same past job experience on each resume, but the key difference is in how I describe the skill set, what I highlight, how I explain it to the employer so that it appeals to what they are looking for in an employee. Right? So it's not about lying. It's not about coming up with something that they may want to hear, but it's about tailoring your experience or tailoring how you describe your experience to fit or to showcase how you are particularly skilled to do what they are looking for. So you got two separate resumes or more depending. You don't need to have a whole bunch, but you just need to tailor it based on what you're looking for, what the employer is looking for. So I'll give you an example, my personal example. When I was looking for jobs teaching, I didn't necessarily need to have all of my research experience on there, everything that I did in the laboratory and so on and so forth, depending on what I'm looking to teach. So I could have a little bit, but I didn't need to have all of that, explaining the tools and equipment that I am skilled at using because I wouldn't necessarily be doing that in a classroom. Or like, let's say I chose to teach preschool or something, I don't need to have that on my resume because I'm not going to be teaching preschoolers that. So it's just basically playing around with how you describe it, how you describe your skill set, and what you focus on and highlight based on what your employers are looking for. Okay, so that's tip number one. I'm looking down because my notes. Okay, tip number two, which is basically an extension of tip number one, like I just explained to you, is to adjust the description of your previous experiences to describe the particular skill set that your employer is looking for. Be sure to connect each one of your previous work experiences and the skills and the duties that you have done on your resume to the specific job duties that your employer is looking for. So if they're looking for someone, let's say for like a management position, you want to find in ways that you have exhibited leadership qualities or done management tasks in your previous work experiences. So you may not have necessarily been a manager before, but you're trying to connect what you did do to your potential and your ability to perform in this new position. So you definitely want to look for ways that you have either delegated tasks or managed a project. Maybe you're not the manager, but you managed a particular project that you and your coworkers did, or you coordinated something. So you want to look for ways that you've done the things that a manager has done in your past experiences and connect that for your employer. Connect those dots. How has what you've done in the past prepared you for what is in store for you in this new position that you're looking for? Tip three, kind of like what I just finished saying. Okay, highlight any special roles, experiences, or responsibilities that you've had in the past. So pay very close attention to, let's say, like what your superiors or supervisors or managers, what are some of the things that they love to ask you to do. Okay, not necessarily within your job description, and may or may not be, but what are some of the things that they come to you specifically for? Oh, so and so, you're really great at organizing things. Oh, can you organize this? Oh, such and such, you're really great at looking for or searching for these documents. Like, I always have a hard time finding particular files, but you're really, really great at keeping things organized and knowing where things are and stuff like that. So you want to highlight the things that make you stand out over everyone else. Myself, for example, at my job, they always look to me to kind of be the creator and come up with creative and innovative ideas. And that's a big one. I don't really, I don't think I give myself enough credit for that, because I'm always trying to say, how can you sell that, or how, or what can I do with that? But being creative and being innovative is big, and everybody needs somebody on their team who is creative, who is thoughtful, who can come up with new and exciting ideas. So what you want to be able to do when you have skill sets like that is kind of try to come up with a finished product at your job, like whatever it is. Like, try to come up with something tangible in a or results or something that you can show a future employer and say, hey, listen, this is what I accomplished at my last job. I made this thing and this is how we used it, or I was the lead on this project, or I came up with this idea and we took it to this next level. If there's any opportunity that you have in your job, you kind of want to go a little bit of the extra mile to flush out something, especially when it has your name on it, or when you are kind of put at the forefront or the head of something, when you're asked to do something. And here's the challenge, because a lot of us don't want to do stuff that's outside of our pay grade, or we're like, they don't pay me for that. And I'm not encouraging you to be used by your employer. I definitely want you to get whatever value is owed or due to you. So, I mean, negotiations and how you get paid is a totally separate topic. But you definitely want to take pride in whatever it is that you do, and take any opportunity that you can to come up with something and to walk away with something and basically say, like, this is what I've done, and look at this. This is my finished product. This is my thing. Or these are the types of skills that I had that I was known for at my last job, or ways or unique value that I brought to the table as an employee or team member. So keep those things in mind and definitely highlight those things in your resume. And you can use other areas such as, like, let's say volunteerism. Like, maybe you committed extra time to volunteer, or you did this kind of these things that were not necessarily you had to do it, but you stepped up and you did them, and so that contributed to another skill set that you can market to your future employers. Tip number 4: focus on how the services you provided benefited your employer. So when you are looking to describe to your future employer what it is that you were doing at your old job, use words that, or use phrases in your descriptions that paint a picture for how your employer benefited from what you were doing. This is how you can take small or seemingly mundane tasks and kind of dress them up or flourish them or really, really sell them to your future employer. Not about being dishonest on your resume, but because a lot of people do that. A lot of people lie on their resume. Not encouraging you to lie on your resume, but you want to be as descriptive as possible and get really, really good at selling yourself, selling your values, selling your skill set, selling your talents, your abilities, and your unique value to your employer. So get great at selling yourself. And that's also a part of your confidence, a part of your self-confidence. A lot of us have insecurities about our actual value, what we're actually bringing to the table and what we're able to do. So when you get good at selling yourself, that's when more opportunities come to you, because but it's really about that self-confidence. So what was it? Right. Okay, an example. Focus on, oh my gosh, stupid camera. It's the second, guys. Focus on selling your unique, my bad. Focus on selling how what you were doing was benefiting your employer. So here we go. Let's say you are a secretary and you work for this big boss lady, and people call the office to make appointments with the big boss lady. So you answer the phone and you help to schedule the appointments. When you're writing your resume, don't just put, I answered the phone. Sure, you answered the phone. Yes, that's what you're doing. Yes, that's an honest response. You answered the phone. Okay? Nobody's telling you to lie about answering the phone. But why were you answering the phone? You were coordinating your boss's schedule, or you were coordinating meetings, you were facilitating corporate meetings, managing corporate schedules, right? Organizing appointments, things like that. Okay? So there was a reason that you were answering the phone. And I know feeling like answering the phone is so mundane and anybody could do it, and that's not anything unique. But You want to sell your value. There's a reason you are there answering the phone. And somebody, even if it feels like you were just doing really, really mundane tasks, somebody was making a lot of money off you doing those mundane tasks. And unfortunately, it may not have been you, but it definitely was somebody. So you sell it to your future employer from that angle. How can you benefit from what I do? That's how you sell anything, right? What is it that the person is looking for? Why do they look for employees? Because you play a valuable role in the function of their company, and you need to illustrate that to them. I'll give you an example from my personal life. I used to work at a law office, and I was answering the phones, and I used to do this task that I thought was just so mundane to the point where it drove me nuts. Like it was crazy, so annoying. I would go through my boss's financial documents, aka old receipts, and I would categorize, you know, all the different things that she has spent money on. I was organizing, like, okay, this receipt she got from, let's say, Best Buy, and she bought some software for the computers at the job, or this receipt she got from the parking lot, and she was, parking her car in the space or whatever for when she came to work. So I was organizing her expenses, and I would take the receipts and I would chart the expenses in an Excel file, and then I would add up all the expenses, and I would like categorize the receipts in this big binder. And I thought that it was so mundane and so redundant and so annoying, and she knew that I was bored out of my mind, and she tried to make it a little bit more exciting for me, but y'all, annoying. Okay, so but I was doing that, and I learned how to manage finances, and just how important it was for a business to categorize its expenses. And what I didn't know was that she was taking that book. Well, I did know, but I didn't realize how important it was. She was taking that book of receipts, and she was taking those financial documents that I had drafted up for her, and she was taking them to her accountant, and her accountant would use them to do her taxes. And she had given me this gift one year, and I was like, wow, you must really like me. And what she said, I'll probably never forget it. She said, it has nothing to do with me liking you. You save me a lot of money, and you keep me out of jail. Because you do my finances, I'm able to do my taxes, and I don't get arrested. I was like, what? I really didn't realize how important what I was doing was to the function of the business, and literally, the law. So even if you don't fully understand what you're doing or why it's important, just know somebody making a lot of money, even if it's not you, and your employer wouldn't bother to pay you to do something that didn't have any value, right? Because if they got to pay you a salary, that means that what they're asking you to do has a monetary value. That's why they're investing in your services. And just know that whatever you do, you are providing a service, and that service has value. So just pay very close attention to that, and try to look for those answers. Ask yourself, what am I doing when I answer this phone? Who benefits when I answer this phone? You know what I mean? Who benefits when I organize these documents? What am I really doing? What are these documents that I'm organizing? Don't ever be a part of something and not have as clear of an understanding of what you do, why it's important, and you know who really benefits from your services. And so that's how you'll be able to gauge later on, especially if you wanted to go for, let's say, like a salary negotiation, and you wanted to get a raise. You have to understand how what you do makes your company money. And so maybe you answering the phone 10 times a week is able to, or even better, let's say you make outgoing calls and you call potential clients, and those 10 clients that you bring in every week net the company an extra $10,000 a month. That's how you are able to advocate for your salary increase, when you're able to point to figures and say, hey, listen, I did X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D. That equaled to the company making this amount more money. So I want this percentage of that increase that I bring to the table. Now that's for people who are able to actually monetize and put numerics on the value that they bring. And so the first step into being able to do that is really just to pay attention to the value that you bring to the table and what you're actually doing. So bring that into focus when you're looking to um, move on to your next job position. So that's all I have for you today. Those are my 4 tips to writing a great resume, even if all you have is clerical experience. Pay attention to how your value benefits your employer and what it is that you are actually doing at these jobs. And be as honest as you possibly can be on your work documents, because at the end of the day, you don't want to get yourself into anything. Honestly, you don't want to get yourself into anything that you got to lie to get to, because you probably are not going to enjoy it that much, and you probably don't want to have to try to live up to a lie. But yeah, be as honest as you can be, but learn how to really have the confidence to market yourself, market your values, and market your skill set to your employer. So again, I'm Medina. Welcome to my YouTube channel, my YouTube home, my YouTube tribe. If you like content like this or anything personal finance, personal development related, or you just want to follow me and my journey to personal financial freedom and overall happiness in life, subscribe. And if you know anybody who will benefit from information like this, or who needs some career confidence tips and help, or who's looking for a new job, share this video with them. Like, comment, what are some challenges that you face on your job search journey, and what are some questions that you would like answered? So answer that in the comment section below. And thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you next time. Bye. Oh, and if you're interested, the first video in my career confidence series was career confidence in job interviews, how to be confident on your next job interview. So check that out. Until next time. Bye bye.